There's someone in your life right now who rarely speaks. Maybe they sit quietly in a room full of people. Maybe they give short answers. Maybe you've wondered, are they shy? Are they hiding something? Are they even okay? But what if I told you that the quietest people in the room are often running the most complex inner worlds you will ever encounter? Stay with me, because what you're about to hear might completely change how you see the quiet people in your life, and maybe how you see yourself. Most people assume that silence means emptiness, that if someone isn't talking, they have nothing to say. But psychology tells us the opposite is almost always true. People who don't talk much aren't absent from the conversation. They're just having it, somewhere else, inside their own mind. And that inner conversation, it's richer, deeper, and more layered than most people ever get to hear. Research in personality psychology shows that people who speak less tend to process information more thoroughly before responding. They're not slow, they're not awkward, they are deliberate. Now here's where it gets fascinating. Quiet people often have an incredibly vivid internal life. While others are talking, they're observing. They're picking up on things most people completely miss. The slight change in someone's tone, the way someone looked away at the wrong moment, the tension hiding underneath a smile. Psychologists call this high environmental sensitivity, and it is exhausting. Not because something is wrong with them, but because they are processing so much more than the average person ever does. Think of it like this. Imagine walking into a room and hearing music, 3 different conversations, the hum of an air conditioner, someone's perfume, the light shifting from a window, all at once, all equally loud. That is what social environments feel like for many quiet people. So they go quiet, not to shut the world out, but because the world is already too loud inside their head. Now here is what they're actually thinking, and this is where most people get it completely wrong. Quiet people don't think less. Studies show they often think more. They replay conversations. They analyze situations from multiple angles. They consider what they'll say before they say it. And then, sometimes, they decide it's simply not worth saying at all. Not because they don't care, but because they care too much to say something that isn't true, isn't helpful, or isn't ready. There's a concept in psychology called inner speech. It refers to the silent conversation we constantly have with ourselves. And in quiet people, this inner speech is almost non-stop. They're debating ideas, questioning assumptions, solving problems, all behind a calm, unreadable face. What looks like silence on the outside is a storm on the inside. And here's something society rarely tells you. Silence is a form of power. Think about the people throughout history who changed the world. Many of them were not the loudest in the room. Darwin was famously reserved. Einstein was considered slow as a child because he didn't speak much. Rosa Parks, before her act of courage was heard around the entire world, was known as a woman of very few words. Quiet people often carry a kind of quiet confidence. They don't need to fill every silence. They don't need constant validation. They are comfortable in their own presence, which is actually one of the rarest psychological traits a human being can have. And in relationships, in friendships, the quiet person is almost always the one you call when everything falls apart, because they listen, fully, completely, without preparing their own response while you're still talking. But I want to be honest with you here, because this isn't just a feel-good story. Quiet people often struggle deeply in a world that was built for the loud. In classrooms, the talkative kids get called on. In offices, the most vocal people get noticed and promoted. In social settings, being quiet gets mistaken for being rude, arrogant, or simply disinterested. And over time, that misunderstanding leaves a mark. Many quiet people grow up genuinely wondering if something is wrong with them. They've been told to speak up, to come out of their shell, to be more social, as if who they naturally are needs to be fixed. And they internalize that. They carry a quiet shame that almost no one ever sees, because they're far too private to show it. So what happens when a quiet person finally feels truly understood? Something remarkable happens. They open up, not all at once, but slowly, carefully, like a door that has been locked for years finally finding the right key. And what comes out is extraordinary. Depth, creativity, loyalty, a kind of love that doesn't shout. It just stays. The quiet person who finally trusts you will tell you things they have never told anyone, because they have spent years thinking it, and they were simply waiting for someone worth saying it to. So the next time you are with someone who doesn't talk much, don't try to fill their silence. Sit in it for a moment, because that silence isn't empty, it is full of everything they haven't said yet. If this felt true for you, if it made you think of someone or made you feel seen, share it with them. Sometimes the best way to tell someone you understand them is to show them something that says it better than words ever could. And if you want to keep understanding the human mind on a deeper level, subscribe, because we are just getting started.